Friday, and it is November 20th. We have just one meeting to tell you about today. It is the Special United Maintenance and Construction Committee, and that will be able to be followed on the lagunawoodsvillage.com/meetings. So you could follow along on that meeting if you choose to. And on our show today, we do have an update from Jeff Parker. So we're going to sit down and talk about our usual things that we do, COVID numbers, and a couple of other things that are happening here in Laguna Woods that we'd like to talk to you about. All right, let's go ahead and go to our resources that we normally do for COVID-19. We got covid19.ca.gov where you can follow along with the governor's plans. We have OCHealthInfo.com where you can get all of the numbers for COVID-19 and the hotline, which is 714-834-2000. We have our website, which is LagunaWoodsVillageAlerts.com, where we update it on a regular basis, and you can email us at info@LagunaWoodsVillage.com. All right, weather. Boy, I just cannot say enough about how lovely our weather has been. No complaints here. Love waking up to sunshine. However, we did have a little bit of partly cloudiness this morning, and it was going to be 72-55 today, and then maybe a little bit of cloudiness again tomorrow, 70-55, but then sunny. 71-51 on Sunday, Monday 69-50, and then Tuesday 70-53. Now, if you are traveling, you might want to take a look at these numbers. Beaches are looking lovely, 68 with an overnight 53. Mammoth is at 50, perfect skiing weather, and 17 overnight, and they have been getting lots of snow up there, and I do know that they're open, so you can jet on up there and have a ski day. Big Bear 57-27, and Palm Springs a nice 85 with an overnight of 60. Now our sunrise this morning was 6:28, and the sunset will be 4:45. So you can get a jump on your nighttime activities early on. And here we have a lemon cranberry pie bar. Now this is one I definitely want to try. It sounds delicious. You can get this recipe at foodandwine.com. If you have a favorite recipe that you would like to share with us, and maybe you have a snapshot of it, please email it to lagunawoodsvillagetv@gmail.com. All right, when we come back, we will have Jeff Parker, so stay tuned.
At the Memorial Care Breast Centers, our sole focus is to save lives through annual mammograms. We've implemented the following safety measures to keep you safe during your appointment. All patients are screened upon entry and will be asked to wear a mask. Waiting areas and dressing rooms have been rearranged and are being disinfected more frequently. Appointment times are staggered for social distancing. All staff are screened upon entry and wear appropriate PPE. Our standalone breast centers are located throughout our communities, and with easily accessible locations from Long Beach to Rancho Mission Viejo, we're here for you, close to home.
Most real estate agents stick to the 3 Ps of marketing. They place it on the MLS, they put up a sign, and pray that it sells. Laguna Premier Realty takes a different approach to marketing your home. From professional and high-quality photos, to high-definition video, single property websites, and 3D virtual tours. We will make your property stand out and, most importantly, sell. So whether you are looking to list your current home or find your dream home in the village, Laguna Premier Realty is here to help.
We have Jeff Parker here who's going to talk to us about all sorts of things. So happy Friday. I swear you were just here yesterday. What is up with that? Everything's just flying by.
This is a quick week for definitely.
It was a quick
next week we got Thanksgiving, so a short week.
It's going to be a short week.
They do go fast.
They do go fast. Now, last time we talked a little bit about some of the COVID numbers that were increasing, and I don't think that's really changed that much. I think things are obviously increasing even more. So what kind of numbers do you got for us?
And we'll talk about what you see up on the board there, which is unfortunately the COVID cases at 582. Yesterday was over 600. Unfortunately, 9 reported deaths. On that reported deaths, I want to point out, and the seriousness of it, obviously, we understood any death is really something to be concerned about, but it's tended to be, skilled nursing facilities, assisted livings, but in the case of yesterday's numbers, 7 residents that are not in those facilities. So this is throughout Orange County again. So I want to make sure everybody understands that. But the one that we talked about before on Monday was watching that hospitalization rate. Now it's over 300. Back when we were talking 2 or 3 weeks ago, we were in the 150 range.
Right.
And because of those numbers right there, especially those hospitalization numbers, that's why we got tripped into the purple tier on Tuesday. On Monday we said it might be coming, and sure enough, lo and behold, and that's the reason that 10.8 cases per 100,000 is what put us back into that widespread. Some of our other numbers are still positive rate, still better than being real high and in a purple category. But we're there now, and so as you know, and for our residents, if they didn't hear, obviously the governor declared a curfew that's going to start Saturday, from 10 to 5 in the morning. There are some exceptions to it and some rules, so definitely want to go on the state's website to get all the information so you're very up to speed with regards to that. Again, these are efforts that they're trying to get our numbers down. They're trying to get as much control. And this is not just California. This is not just Orange County. This is everywhere in the country, and everybody's seeing the spike. And it's such an unfortunate time because now we're getting into the cold weather back east of the winter times, and now we're into the holidays. Next week's Thanksgiving, as we just talked about, people wanting to travel. Very, very strong recommendations out by CDC and everybody about trying not to travel, restricting your gatherings. So again, all we can tell you is be careful out there, wear your mask, wash your hands, definitely social distancing, and then restrict or try to reduce the amount of gatherings and the size of your gatherings is probably the best information and the best knowledge that we can participate with our residents in the village.
Exactly.
We did jump up 90 cases now, so we're seeing a little bit of, growing in the village, which when I say the village, Laguna Woods, the city of, is where the stats come out. And so just, again, being careful and being present about that, I think we can get through this. But those are some interesting numbers, and they're scary in the sense that they continue to rise.
And then you look at, we've talked about this so many times about our community being of the highest risk. And one thing that happened yesterday that I think might be worth talking about is I was speaking to somebody and we were talking about, do you know anybody that has COVID-19? And the gal said, well, yes, I know 3 people in my community and then I know 2 people that died. So perspective and the perception of what's happening out there is different and varies from person to person. So for instance, I don't necessarily know anybody, but to take into consideration, you wonder why they're doing certain things like a curfew or why we're doing all of these stay-at-home things. It's because of the fact that you may end up knowing somebody.
I think that's it. I think you hit it right on the head. I think that is kind of the key element is, I think when this first started, when we were back in March, April, and May, it was like, well, I don't know anybody who's got it, that type of thing. And then all of a sudden you start to hear the stories and you hear more of the personal notes. I know last night I was reading a story about a probation officer in Riverside County who passed away from COVID-19 at the age of 34. Okay. And you're like going, wow, to that organization, what does that mean? And the same thing here. We don't want to go through that. And so as much as we've been lucky here in the village, I think, and with our staff and not having any major cases of it, doesn't mean it's not happening out there in the world.
Exactly. So anyway, enough said on that because I just wanted to reiterate that. But thank you for going over the numbers. It's always good to know because not everybody goes to the website. So for us to catch up on that. Now, moving into something else that's definitely different, but certainly something to be apprised of because we are moving into a situation where many people will be doing stuff online. And we've talked to our Director of Security, Carlos, about being secure. We're going to talk to the Orange County Sheriff's Department about being secure. And you're going to tell us a little bit about the malware situation. And it can happen to anyone and any business.
So back in October, at the end of October, we came on and told you about that. We had a malware incident. We also put e-blast out to our village and gave them some very general information about what had happened and what had shut down our systems. So we were hit with a malware that encrypted basically all of our operations. It went into every one of our systems and shut everything down. One of the questions, and I know one of the things that we're hearing and a lot of dialogue out there is, well, why didn't we have a backup? Well, we did have a backup. Unfortunately, the way everything was structured, that malware, which is very sophisticated and very new, and it's a cyber malware out of Russia that's hitting all kinds of places in Orange County, not just us, had the ability to get to our backup information as well. So it not only locked up our operating, but our backup system too. So it's not like we could go to our backup and say, hey, let's just restore. We weren't able to do that. So, and it was, we were going through the investigation with the FBI and the Orange County Sheriffs and their team like that. So I know there was a lot of talk out there, and at first I was waiting to the investigation to get further on. There was a ransom because of this malware, and we were in a position where we needed to get back on our feet in a sense and get our data back. It was so critical. This is data that we use for past information to make sure that we're up to speed when we do inspections and M&C and manner alterations. We need this documentation. So we went ahead and paid that ransom in order to get the encryption key back. So that has occurred. I want people to understand that there's numbers out there that are being talked about that are huge. It was not huge, and that payment, that ransom payment, gave us the encryption key back. That payment will not affect anybody's assessments. We're able to incorporate that into our operating budget and make sure that we can make that payment. So it's not going to affect anybody's financial concerns relative to the fact of assessment. So I want to make sure everybody understands that. And then from an operational point now, we have that key back, we unencrypted it, so we have all our data back. So that's really the big success. So all of our information that we couldn't get to, we now can get to. Okay. And so that's the first stage. Second stage now is to take all of that data and make sure that it's not encrypted or possibly being encrypted again by different malware or the same malware and we missed, one of the bugs in the system. So we're going through our IT department, literally what we call scrubbing every one of our PCs, every one of our servers. We're cleaning them all up with all the protective cybersecurity protections we can do, and then we can reload that data back into our operations. Okay. And we're doing that, and we made a lot of strides. You hear Stellar, that's one of them that we have back in systems. So resident services and maintenance and construction are now able to go back into that system. So that's real positive. I think from the other thing I wanted to mention that is real important is our AX system, which is our financial system, was one of our systems that was never encrypted. It was never impacted by this malware. So we've been able to make our payments, accounts receivable, accounts payable. We've been able to move forward with that. We did make a modification to our AX system to make sure we had more protections, kind of putting it into the cloud, putting it in a different operating mode, but that information that was on the AX system was not compromised, and that's really, really important. I think one of the other questions that we hear a lot of is, well, is there credit card information that could have been stolen? Right. We don't have any system here with the AX system or anything where we collect credit card information. You process a payment using a credit card, you're going through a third party. We've never had a system here in our recent operation where we've collected or kept somebody's credit card information.
Oh, good.
So I think that's important. But just as you said, as you opened up, doesn't mean that's not happening out there. It's the holiday season. People are using that. Shipping, people are doing a lot of different buying, and so we want to make sure that people understand, be diligent about your identity theft and credit card theft, and you've talked about that, and here's a phone number to call with regards to getting that kind of information with regards to identity theft or credit card theft.
Right.
People should be diligent. People should be watching their statements and making sure that there isn't something false, and contacting their credit card companies with regards to that type of information.
Well, you can set things up with your credit cards to have alerts. Sometimes it's kind of a pain because they might alert you and it's something you've done. But nonetheless, I mean, you can certainly do that. And, can I go back and just ask you one quick question? Because it's very interesting to me that, this is something that occurs on a regular basis that we hear about. But when you work with the FBI and you work with the Orange County Sheriff's Department, what kind of things do you have to do with them to be able to get them on the right path to find where this is coming from?
So as part of that process, we have hired outside experts to do what we call forensic analysis so we look at, in that forensic analysis, they try to help us identify how the malware got here.
Okay.
Did it get sent by a email? Did it get sent by Excel package or however that? And so if we can identify that, and then they can get into the specifics of identifying the process that it got here, plus the fact that although a unique process, and certainly first time for me to go through the negotiation process of talking to these bad players.
Wow.
They were actually part of our negotiations with them was, hey, if we're going to pay any kind of ransom, we want to know what you did, what you encrypted. Did you take any of our files? We want all our files back, number one. So one of the things I wanted to mention was that we do know that, and they call it extraction, but we do know that some files were taken, but we have everything back. So that's kind of part of that ransom thing. Give it all back. You took it for a while, but you've given it all back to us, plus you've unlocked everything that we had. But with that element of them taking those files, we're going through the process now, continuing process of more forensic and evaluation of those files to ensure or to define, did anybody's personal information in there?
Right.
Or was it just M&C files or just recreation files or HR files? Because HR files could be just as important to us too, because was there any information there relative to our own employees? Or was it just our operation stuff? So we're going through that process. We hope to have that identified really soon. And then any notification that we have to do beyond that, we certainly will.
Yeah.
But we're still in that process, and as far as our knowledge right now, we're trying to ascertain if there's any information that's, private information that could have been extracted, even though we have all the data back,
Right.
Which is really the important thing.
Exactly. Well, thank you for working on that and explaining it to us and being transparent because, it is something that is very concerning as a whole. So thank you.
And I just wanted to mention what we've talked about today. We put together in an e-blast. And we're going to send that out to the community this afternoon with our normal, what's up in the village e-blast with everything. We're going to give you the same information that I just provided to our residents so they know that phone number to call if they want to check with government ID theft type information.
Okay.
And what they can do and some recommendations. And that's in the e-blast along with where we're at in our process.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, it's certainly something to be concerned about, like we mentioned, for individuals. And then you did mention that other corporations are also dealing with this. It's just a shame. It's a shame that we have to go through stuff like this.
Yeah, I was in talking to the Orange County Sheriff's Organization, the cybercrime area, and the FBI, of talking about how this, especially in particular, this one hack that came in through this one, I'll call it Russian, what they say are Russian individuals, how many in Orange County, just in Orange County, that were hit with this. So it's increasing. I think going forward, I think every business, every corporation out there is going to be very cognizant, because we've seen more and more of this in the last few years, not just from Russia, but from China and other places. And it can be very disruptive, like it was in our case, and it's still disruptive. I want to make sure to our residents, we're not back up to 100% yet. We have the data back, and now we're making sure that data is clean and our system's clean, so we get that back and get our servers back into a place where people can access the information. And it has put delays into it, there's no question. And I feel bad that some of our inspection process and plans and permitting process has slowed down, and even working with all the realtors with regards to trying to get escrows closed and everything. It has been a problem, and we recognize that, and we appreciate people working with us that are understanding of that we're trying as hard as we can to get up to speed.
Well, and also another thing to tell everybody is please be patient, because this is something that's fairly new to us. Obviously, it's a new type of software that we're trying to deal with, and it could be something new that the FBI and their cybersecurity is seeing as well, and so they're going to have a learning curve too. Yeah,
a lot of what we've been told is a lot of the technology that is behind the bad guys is just new age stuff, and how it works and how it goes into your system and lays dormant for a period of time and then spreads. And it's very tricky, and the technology that they've advanced so that they can go, not only like we were talking about getting our primary, but having it have the capability of going back into the backup and stopping that. So we're very happy that we're moving forward, and very much appreciative of our residents having that patience and understanding, and then getting to the next level, getting our operations back up to speed, and then making sure that when we go through and scrub those last files that we know that were extracted, that if there's any information, then we need to make sure that we notify people.
Okay, well gosh, thank you. Thanks for the information. On that note, have a great weekend. We'll see you again on Monday.
See you again on Monday. Thank you.
Thanks. And just remember to keep an eye out for any theft that you may see on your credit cards or bank statements. Now, when we come back, we'll tell you what the movie is, and I apologize we didn't get to the United update today, but we will go ahead and get to the United update on Monday. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Lieutenant Ken Bermude with the Orange County Sheriff's Department. We've seen an increase in phone scams where con artists pretend to be someone they are not, including law enforcement officers. Don't be a victim. Trust your instincts. If a call seems suspicious, it probably is. For example, the Orange County Sheriff's Department will never require payment over the phone. If you receive one of these calls, contact the Orange County Sheriff's Department as soon as possible and visit our website to learn more about scams.
It's important for you to get your financial house in order, and so it breaks my heart sometimes when I see widows that come in with $100,000, $200,000 to their name, and yet their broker has lost $200,000 or $300,000 in the market when they shouldn't even have been in the market. The most satisfying part that I find in working with retirees is when they come in on their annual reviews and the market has had a bad turn, and we know that we can sit down and look at them and say, you haven't lost any money.
Parkinson's disease is a neurological movement disorder affecting an estimated 1 million Americans, including many under age 40. It has no cure. Parkinson's is not limited to how a person moves. It can also cause symptoms like depression, fatigue, and impaired speech. Today, there is a new diagnosis every 9 minutes, though Parkinson's can be present for years before being diagnosed. The American Parkinson Disease Association is the largest grassroots network in the United States, working to help ease the burden and find the cure. For more than 50 years, APDA has funded pioneering research and provided critical support to those affected by Parkinson's. Visit apdaoptimism.org today to find out how you can help millions live with dignity and optimism. Your action today will help APDA put an end to Parkinson's disease.
Achieve a level of comfort you've never known before. The Daydreamer will take you through smooth movements and guide you effortlessly into your favorite positions. Adjust the power pillow for ideal support for your head and neck. This and our positioning technology allows for infinite relaxation. Lay back in zero gravity while watching TV and put your body and mind at ease. Lift your spirits and find your favorite daydream. Contact your local Golden retailer today.
Welcome back. Okay, so we have just a minute or so to tell you what's going on. We got a Friday movie today. It is sponsored by Kaiser Permanente, Blade Runner. So really cool movie to get involved in this afternoon. 2 p.m. with subtitles, 7 p.m. without subtitles. And then don't forget this weekend, Saturday, November 21st at 2 p.m., Clubhouse 5 parking lot is the Johnny Carson 2020 show. Get your tickets at ActiveNet. And $5 per vehicle. Okay, weather is looking wonderful. Wonderful this weekend, absolutely beautiful. So you are looking at temperatures in the 70s with overnights in the 50s right through the weekend. Looking pretty good. I mean, Saturday 70, 53, Sunday 71, 51. So it's looking really good. And then if you are traveling, you may want to check out these temperatures. You've got the beaches, which are in the high 60s. And then you've got the mountains. We've got Mammoth 50, 17 overnight, and there is snow up there. Big Bear 57, 27, and then Palm Springs 85 and 60. Have a great day in the village. It's Friday, and you can watch us again here at 12:30 and 5, or you can just see us again tomorrow at 9 a.m. Have a great Friday. Stay healthy. We'll see you again. Bye-bye.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
To help stop the coronavirus, the CDC recommends to avoid contact with people who are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze with a tissue, then throw the tissue in the trash. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects and surfaces. Stay home when you are sick, except to get medical care. Wash your hands often with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. For more information, contact the CDC. A message from Village Management Services.
Now there's a different way to buy a new Lexus. It's called CarDash, only available at SouthCountyLexus.com. It's amazingly simple. Visit SouthCountyLexus.com, select and reserve your new or pre-owned vehicle that comes with a 5-day love it or leave it guarantee. Apply for credit, calculate your payment, and even appraise your trade-in, all online. Once you arrive at the dealership, just pick up your car and drive home. Push a button, get a Lexus. South County Lexus, where different is amazing.